And we're live. Welcome back, everybody. Another Tuesday night chat with the Muskrat and Mr. Creole catfishing. And we got some special guests for you guys tonight. They're hanging out down there.
We do.
They're hanging out down there and petting on the dog. Keep it down, though. She doesn't know that she's a dog.
Yeah, don't tell dog.
Yeah, don't want to let that secret out just yet.
Jeremy, what's been going on with you, buddy?
Oh, work, buddy. We are trying to get it done, trying to finish so I can go back and fish some more. The bite is good, but ain't nothing I can do about it right now. It's a sad situation.
I understand. I've got guys sending me fish pictures. Either Zach out there killing it with some big toads out of the Ohio, and my other buddies sending me crappie pictures from the lakes. And I'm like, come on, I got to go fishing. So,
I know.
I'm taking this weekend off. I'm going crappie fishing, and I'm going to snag some shad on Friday. I'm going to hit the river Saturday and Sunday.
Cool.
So that's what our outlook looks like going forward. But why don't we say hello to some folks that are hanging out here in chat that came in early while everybody else pulls up a chair and grabs a seat. What do you say?
Hey, let's do it. First in the house, Mr. Avid Fisherman. He beat everybody in today. What's going on, Avid? Look, we have JayR Fishing in the chat. How about that?
I heard about those guys. I heard
about those guys.
You got to watch those guys.
You got to watch them.
We do. We got Dennis in the house, 922 Crappie Barbecue. What's going on? Wabash Nate, Mr. Tommy, Mental Dunkers in the house, Mr. Harold Bolton, Mike G, one of my bumping brothers. What's going on, Mike Greenwell?
Mr. Greenwell.
Got Miss Paula Smith in the house. Got Pontoon Jody, one of my River Rat brothers, Richard, Fishing and Freedom. What's going on, Richard? Mr. Dave Garcher's in the house. Sean Abney. Let's see. I moved on me. I hate when
they're starting to roll in fast now.
Cliff Dixon in the house. I'm trying to keep up, man. You're distracting me. El Gato. What's going on, brother? He put on one heck of a show in the final round. Wasn't quite enough, but man, he put on one heck of a show. A nail biter finish, man. Love it.
Yeah, that's what makes it all the better is when when it's tight like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Miss Becca, what's going on, Miss Becca? Good to have you in the house. I see Paul Boyd in the house. Let's see. There's no way I'm caught up. Downtown Ernie Brown. What's going on, Ernie? With Terry Lane in the house. Let's see. Oh, and I am caught up for the time being, but we go shout everybody out as they come in. That's
right. Real quick, I want to say, thoughts and prayers for Chrissy and Ernie Brown, both of them struggling right now with some illness and all that. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And man, they need to catch a break soon. They've been on the struggle bus. So, but welcome to. Did they freeze?
Nope, they're not freezing. Nope, they're.
Oh,
no freezing here.
Oh man,
it's not even on screen.
I was going to say, just have the art of sitting.
No, you're good.
So we've got JayR Fishing, which is made up of Jamie and Richard. So welcome, guys.
Hi.
She's over there trying to get her screen pulled up so she can read comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, that's always a good idea.
Before we started.
Somebody's excited right here. We got a $1.99 super sticker says, "Let's go" from Caleb Estelle.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys know him, but appreciate you guys popping in. We've got some other folks in here, Larry DeLong and Ripping Lips, my buddy Claude. What's going on, buddy?
Now, for those of y'all in chat that are on TikTok, watch fishing TikTok, I'm sure y'all recognize these guys. These guys have been on TikTok for quite a while, tearing it up, doing great live streams, catching some really big flatheads. And I know there's a lot of people in our community. They love them some flatheads. Okay. And now, if you're not familiar with TikTok, look, these guys right here, they're stepping into the YouTube world, kind of getting started. Their channel name on YouTube is the same as TikTok, JayR Fishing. Go check them out. They got some great stuff on there. But to get started, we have been talking for a while about where y'all have come with the fishing journey, how y'all get started. But I'd like for y'all to tell the people in chat kind of how y'all got started in fishing, and just kind of go through the little story of how JayR Fishing came to be.
Well, if we start before there was a J and an R, my
Okay.
grandfather was an amateur BASS tournament fisherman
Okay.
most of my childhood.
You
So
like how
I
you
grew up.
spelled it out like a bad word? Sorry, sorry. Don't mind.
You
Don't mind me.
can't hate on a good ditch pickle. You fry
Pay
them
no
up,
mind
put
to
them
him.
between 2 pieces of bread.
They make
Pay
great
no
tomato
mind to
soup.
him.
You can't hate on a good ditch pickle. Them things are delicious. But that's, it's kind of raised chasing spots on Lake Sidney Lanier here in Northeast Georgia.
I got you.
And, always on the water, always fishing. Life was good. It's just kind of, some people are raised hunting, some people are raised sports. Fishing was our family thing.
I got you.
Timmy was kind of the same way out in Colorado, trout fishing.
Yeah, I mean, my family fished for trout. I mean, for fun, we went camping and fishing, and I mean, trout is predominantly what we targeted growing up, and so that's what I grew up fishing. I mean, I occasionally caught a bass or a pike.
Was that carp that you snagged in the dorsal fin?
Or the carp I snagged in the dorsal fin. But I just kind of grew up fishing the small lakes and ponds, whether they were in town in the part of Colorado I was from, or just when we went camping. And I have a love for it. I am not one to give up. So whether we're actually catching fish or we're sitting there waiting all night to catch fish, but I am the one that will sit and wait and not give up. So it's kind of a passion that I have.
Hence,
It means that to the extreme. Like when I go to get the truck and we're about to leave, I have to use the nice Ulterra to drive her out to the middle of that little cove into deeper water, spot lock her, go get the truck, back the trailer down, walk back, and wait for her to finish getting everything done so that I can drive the boat back over to the dock to try to leave.
well, that is, in my opinion, in my experience, that's a blessing and a curse.
It
to
is.
find somebody that shares the passion that you do.
We ended alive at midnight and said we were going to go home, and the sun came up before I got the boat loaded.
Oh, wow. I think I remember that live.
I mean, it happens, but I mean, nowadays, there's so much to do for couples to spend time together. And instead of, sitting in the same room watching TikToks or watching Netflix or going and spending a whole bunch of money to see baseball games, we enjoy fishing. That's what we do. It's how we spend us time.
Yeah, that's really good. In my opinion, anyway, with people seeing couples out there and, not taking any credit away from women anglers, but, girls that see girls fishing makes more girls want to go fishing,
Yep.
especially when they see a couple and like, hey, why can't we do that? Check these guys out. And so
It really sells your point when you know that her flathead PB is bigger than mine.
all right, well, let's go ahead and lay it out there since how you got it out there. Let's hear the PBs.
My PB flathead is a little over 48 pounds. My PB blue is 33 pounds, and my PB channel is 50?
Those are some good fish. I don't care where you
Yeah.
are.
Heck yeah,
And
it is.
my flathead's 36, my blue's 29, and my channel's 9.
Okay.
Good deal.
So it really just, for whatever reason, her side of the boat always does better.
I fish with a guy like that.
Same Same rods, same reels, same lines, same leaders, same bait. Doesn't matter where I park us. Herbicide's always hot.
Yep. Now you see here's a comment to y'all in chat that apparently she broke 2 PBs in the same week.
There you go.
So I actually broke more than 2 PBs in the same week. I
That's
broke
awesome.
all 3 of my PBs in the same week.
Holy
and
cow.
species. So
Well, you think-
I broke my channel. It was a Friday night. I broke my channel. And then Saturday night, I broke my blue and my flathead. And that flathead was 44 pounds. And then
Ooh.
approximately a week later, I broke the flathead PB again.
Hey, that will fall you rotten right there. You know, you have a week, 10 days of fishing like that. That's a hard one sometimes when all of a sudden the bite dies down and you kind of go on a little skunk streak for a while. That's hard. Oh, that's so hard.
That was the thing that we struggled with. When we were in the dog days of summer fishing around the thermocline in the lake, we didn't have the boat yet. You're always just looking at your charts, trying to find somewhere you can get on that deep water and get out of that thermocline. And we struggled and struggled and struggled. We got on the boat right as the fall bite started to turn on, and we started tearing them up at 65-degree water. And then 3 days later, like a light switch flipped. We're sub 60 degrees, and the catfish are like, whoa, hold up.
Yeah.
So here we are now chasing the cold water blue cats, and it's like, I don't even know what a blue cat looks like anymore. Like,
so when you had all that luck with those big fish breaking the PBs, were you on a different body of water, or you just got in?
Nope, still on Lake Hartwell.
It was a portion of Lake Hartwell.
What's the name of that lake again? I'm missing it. I'm sorry.
Lake Hartwell.
Hartwell?
Yes, sir.
All right.
We fished that spot back to back, and we're still trying to figure it out. Typically, it's not common to find your big flats and your blues in the same spot, roughly on top of each other. And that's how I caught the big 44-pound and the big 33-pound, as they were in the same spot, casted, caught them on the same rod. And it's kind of been a bit of a mystery for us.
The theory is the flatheads live there and the blue cats just happen to be swimming through.
Yeah. Skip, a buddy of mine, he's I don't think he's in here yet. Clearview Outdoors. He did the same thing this last year. He fished a really small river, which we didn't even know we knew blues got up in there, but we didn't realize the big ones got up there as far as they went. And he caught a 49-pound blue and a 39-pound flathead out of the same spot at like the same rods, everything, same spot. We was like, holy crap. Those are really good fish, and they come out of the same spot.
Is whoever is our mods in chat, if y'all don't mind throwing JayR's YouTube link up in chat, see if we can't get him a few more hook sets for the night's over.
Absolutely. So I'm seeing some names in here that you guys have brought in that I've never seen before.
Q-Team is one of ours.
Lucky Fly is one of ours.
Dennis is in here.
Dennis is in there. I'm in there.
Parker Pursuit's in one of ours, but we know him.
Yeah.
That's my boy Jerry. That's one of my river rat brothers right there.
We are also live on TikTok, so everybody's kind of getting to hear it as well as see it. And our lovely moderator Rocco is directing everyone your way. So
that's awesome. Appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate that. If the new folks like what they're seeing and want to check out some of what Jeremy and I do and some of the fishing videos that I used to put out, I haven't put fishing videos out forever.
Oh man,
we have a good time here on the show, and we love talking. Our big thing is education and conservation. Those are probably the two biggest things that we focus on our channel. We like to have fun, cut up, and have a good time too, but education and sharing information, whether it's
Oh, yeah.
techniques, ideas, products, whatever. Yeah, we try to stay on top of it. But
Yep. It's all about trying to help people catch fish. Either help them catch their first fish, help them catch bigger fish, help them catch more fish. It's the whole community. I mean, all the live shows we have, all the people out in chat, everybody's very open with all their information. We all learn from each other. There's always new tricks, like I said, new tricks, new techniques. Like Roger said, there's always something different to try. We just try to share everything out as best we can.
And, we're right there on par with that for the education and the conservation. Yep. We want to teach the next generation of anglers to take care of the fisheries we still have.
Yeah,
we've seen
that's right.
A lot of fisheries across the country for just kind of negligence and ignorance as far as what it takes to protect our waters and make it better for the next day.
Yeah, that's right. Because I know myself, in our, and I'm sure everybody calls it the same, but CPR, catch, photo, release. That's our terminology for catch and release catfishing. And I wasn't always that way. I didn't really start CPR and catfish till maybe 3 years ago. It was actually thanks to a good friend of Roger's and now mine, Chris Souders, a professional tournament angler and guide, and he kind of showed me the way, as he's done so many other people. But we all come from different backgrounds. We used to keep everything we catch, and now I rarely keep a fish now. Go figure.
We still keep a fair amount of fish, but if it's not CPR fish, we call it CFE, the catch, fillet, eat.
Yes. Yes.
And growing up with what I was doing, the trout we kept, we ate.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we caught our limit and we released everything else.
Yeah, sure.
Once you catch your limit, you're just there to have fun and enjoy
That's it.
Yeah.
But a lot of what I did right before Richard and I met was a lot of catch and release. Simply because I just wanted to go out and enjoy the outdoors, kind of clear my mind. And then we met. And
now all we do is fish.
Yeah, now all we do is fish. And I mean, it's a different kind of fishing though too.
So how long have you guys been targeting catfish, or more specifically trophy size catfish? Getting into the big stuff.
So like catfish had been a bycatch thing, and there've been a couple of times in my life, put some chicken liver in a little hook and catch some little stalker sized channel cats. But we didn't start truly catfishing and learning about these big cats until late March, early April
of this year.
Okay. So, and it became more of a relaxing thing. If you're on the banks and you're beating the banks trying to chase bass or catching bluegill or whatever else you're doing, most of those forms of fishing are such a more active fish that you're walking up and down the banks. You're not walking together. You're not really. I'm fishing and she is fishing and we rode there together, but she's on this end of the bank and I'm on this end of the bank.
Yeah.
It's not as much fishing together, and catfishing gave us that relaxing, kind of set the rods down and just hang out and enjoy watching the sunset 5 nights a week, or watching the sun rise a couple nights or a couple mornings a week.
And it also gave that quality time that we got to just enjoy nature, but also each other's company.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a huge thing. We talk about it often on our boat, and I know some sidebar conversations have always been had about, just how much wildlife you see when you're out there, and if you just kind of just enjoy it and just make the fishing experience more of an overall experience, not just. Do you guys find more pressure being live? Everyone wants to put on a good show and have a good time. Do you guys find yourselves with more pressure to catch fish on your live streams when you're doing that, as opposed to fun fishing for yourselves?
Yes and no. We're both really competitive against each other. So that's why it's like her PBs are bigger than mine. She fishes one side of the boat. I fish one side of the boat. We've always had that drive with each other to continue to strive to catch more, bigger, better fish. So there's a little more pressure in the feeling like you let everybody down, because you can't really teach anybody a fishing tactic when they watch you sit 5 hours straight and your rods look like statues. It's like, guys, I promise we've caught fish right here before. I marked fish when we pulled in right here.
Yeah.
You can find the fish and you can rig up the best setup you possibly can imagine, but you can't force them to eat.
Yeah.
And that part kind of is a struggle for us.
The one thing that I struggle with, just in general, is losing a fish.
Yes.
I'm hard on myself as it is. I am one of my biggest and worst critics. So losing a fish just in general is like really upsetting. It's like, oh, I could have done better. I should have, eased up on it a little bit. I jumped the gun. I was too excited. But then when you're on live, it's like, well, I just let everybody down.
Yeah.
Not only myself.
Yeah.
Not only myself, but I let everybody down.
Yeah.
And I'm slowly getting better about it, but at the same time, I am my own worst critic. And sometimes it helps having the live to, kind of redirect your mindset so you're ready for that next fish.
Yeah,
I agree.
Somebody said the dog is out. It's ruined.
Is it weird that I read that in his voice? I just read that in Bobcat's voice.
That's
like
right.
Really, in my mind.
Yeah, you could tell that these dogs are used to this type of atmosphere. They're like not phased at all.
No.
He's like, what's going on? Just let me be.
Y'all didn't get to hear that, but she just like headbutted the corner of my phone and she laid down just like thud.
Oh my
God.
God.
I see Tyra Williams joining in?
Yeah, Tyra. She's a friend of mine and a fan of the channel, and she says she loves you guys.
The Dirty South Dragon Weight Queen.
The Dirty South Dragon Weights.
She likes to get dirty.
It really amazed me because I just found this out today that y'all started fishing basically this past spring, because watching y'all live streams, watching the subject matter y'all talk about, the extent of the gear that y'all have, y'all use y'all gear like y'all been doing this for years. Talking about the planer boards, dragging weights, all this stuff. That is not for the amateur. Okay, it takes a lot of practice to really be good at that stuff. It really surprised me to learn that y'all have only been doing this for this long. Y'all have a very fast learning curve, apparently. I will say that.
If you don't mind,
5 days a week though. So
Yeah.
when fishing is literally all you do outside of work and sleep and hanging out with dogs, we have that little bit of a head start on a lot of guys. But
I got you.
So
I blame Chris Souders. Slender Cat is
Yes, he is. He is the man. I say that every time I say his name.
He sent me to Dirty South Dragon Weights because I kept getting snagged up, and it was like every time I would have a problem or I needed to make that next move, there's always been somebody in the industry ready to be like, here's that little piece of information I need to give you. Now run with it and flourish. And that's kind of where we've been. You spend a lot of sleepless nights trying to learn how to pattern fish and how do you fine tune, what's the distance between the boat and the planer board that gives that correct bait presentation and rod tip action. And
so
we've owned it for a week and a half now.
If you guys don't mind, go over some of you guys' equipment a bit. So rods, reels, your boat, electronics. What is it that you guys are depending on to? Because it sounds like you're very educated. It sounds like you do a lot of research. You make decisions based on based on history or based on good source?
So the rods that we use, we'll start with. I mean, no one's going to be surprised here. We do use the Hellcats.
We do.
They're a phenomenal platform. There's a ton of other options out there, and I'm sure they work great. But
Right.
to be able to work with those guys and catch the fever for the product they deliver and everything else they do in this industry, it's a privilege to be able to use their products. We absolutely love our Hellcats, and all of our saltwater fishing, we used pin spinning reels, and that was the direction that I was like, you know what? We're just going straight to pin squalls. I've got a 50 wide in a squall. I know I like that reel. Let's just grab 2 squall 30s and see where they're at. And it kind of was I didn't nail it perfect on the first reel choice. We did step down to all squall 20s.
Yes. Love my 20.
I was really confused with the difference in the squall 20 doesn't auto engage when you turn the reel handle, but the 30 does. So when you cast a 30, if the reel handle's in the wrong spot, your bait goes the wrong direction.
Yeah. Without the line.
Yeah. And then, using Catch the Fever products turned us straight over to the slime line and the heavy cover leader line. We paired up with Nocturnal Nation hooks. We either run a true Demon Dragon brand spook, or we'll go with a peg floated inline rattle. We fish a lot of trashy areas that we don't really want to lose the $6 spook over just trying to chase fish. So
yeah, exactly.
put a 25-cent peg float on there and play ball.
Yes.
I completely understand that. I can't afford them either. I go through a lot of gear, so.
Yeah, because you're just not gonna not fish there. That's not an option. If there's fish there, it doesn't matter. You're throwing stuff in there.
I marked fish under a bridge one day while we were pulling boards. And Jamie was in Seattle, and a buddy of mine looked at me and he was like, we should stop right here and pull everything in. We don't want to drag to all this trash. And we'd probably already pulled 2 miles of water. And I was like, dude, these Dirty South weights haven't snagged a single time so far. I said, we're pulling this bridge. I marked fish on the Lowrance. I'm going to find out if they're hungry fish. And we made it through and somehow didn't lose any tackle under the bridge. About a mile later, I lost one.
Well,
pretty sure I hooked a washing machine that was thrown off the bridge, and like a storm, it shifted it downstream a little bit.
Very well could be.
Yeah, I don't care. There's nobody out there that makes an unsnaggable weight. I don't care who you are.
No.
You're going to lose some gear every now and then.
I think we end up hook snagging a lot more often than you would think.
Yeah.
We'll have the abrasion cut right there above where the snell knot was, and we'll get the whole leader line back and still have our weight. And it's like with a 40-pound main line and a 50-pound leader line, normally you lose everything. Which you're splitting when you hang up that much and be like, oh, well, I kept my leader and not my hook.
Washing machine full of fish.
Good night, Paula.
But, we run the Minn Kota Ulterra with a walk-through console Klamath 16-foot riverboat. I didn't want to have to get up and go deploy the trolling motor every time we wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, auto deploy. I talked him down a good bit on the boat. Let's splurge and just buy the Ulterra and be done with it.
There you go.
It has its moments. A couple guys around here had them. They just didn't seem. We get really cold water up here. They just didn't seem to agree with him. But when they're working right, man, those things are. What I really liked about the Ulterra the most is the ability to trim with the remote. Like if you get into real shallow water, you could just trim that motor up and still continue to move. And to me, that was probably one of the best features.
I use that feature almost on a daily basis, Jason bait.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be in water so shallow that, like, I'm watching the very tip of the Ulterra just slap the bottom in the mud. And the top's still coming up out of the top of the water. And you're like, I probably shouldn't be right here. But I saw 3 gizzard shad pop the water just 10 more feet back.
Yeah.
Just let me get that gizzard shad.
Yep. Miss Tyra says Georgia doesn't freeze. Yeah, we got about the same thing here. I don't see ice here.
We do freeze.
Thank
Believe it
goodness.
or not, we've already had ice on the boat.
Yeah.
Really?
You know, I'm not telling anybody they should spend a whole bunch of money on cold weather gear, but because of Chris Souders, we went ahead and bought the late season guide wear.
That's what I wear. I love it.
We were on the boat and the windows were frosted over, so I had to open the walk-through top, stand over the console, and drive back. And when we got back, there was the whole top side of the boat had a sheet of ice on it.
Oh.
I mean, it wasn't
Ouch.
bad.
No, I mean, I was warm. My nose got a little cold. My guide wear doesn't quite make it to cover my nose and me be able to see to drive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I bought that stuff, and you know, my first fear was that it would be too warm, and it's not. It's, you know, even through the summer or, you know, warmer months, we don't get as warm as you guys do, but I still wear that stuff. If it's pouring down rain, I got to put something like that on.
Yeah.
You know, my frog togs ain't going to cut it. Then it's most likely chilly.
So not only is it starting to get a little bit more chilly down here in Northeast Georgia, I still have family back in Colorado, and my dad absolutely loves ice fishing.
Okay.
And when we go there after Christmas, we are also doing an ice fishing trip with my family, and that was
Awesome.
the reason we got the late season bibs.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So we have the late seasons. I will say, the 200-gram chest and 300-gram legs, it's got to be pretty cold to want more than that.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, if it's not mid-40s, I get a little too hot in it. She's comfortable in it. It'll be 50 degrees, and she's over there with her parka and everything on, just snuggled up in her seat, just as happy as a pig in slop. And I'm like, how? Like, I look at my jacket and I'm sweating.
Yeah.
The humidity.
Yeah. Normally I'll start out like this time of year right now. I mean, our mornings have been in the 20s there for a while, 20, 21 degrees. And that's all I wore was my bibs and my jacket, you know, besides, you know, a hoodie and jeans. And that was all I needed, you know, and I peeled the jacket off pretty quick when the sun came out. Yeah.
So far, I mean, a hoodie and the bibs, I've been super happy. They're comfortable. They fit good. You know, they're loose in the right area and contour in the correct areas. It's like, you couldn't ask for a better fitting product. I was like, well, 3 months ago, I told you could never put a price on comfort, and now I know what it cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's one of the things we've talked about on this channel a couple different times is, you know, investing in that gear. If you're somebody who spends a lot of time outdoors, it's hard to pull the trigger on, you know, $500 worth of rain gear or outdoor wear. But man, it pays for itself so fast, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
We got our guide wear from Bass Pro.
Okay.
So yep, Bass Pro and Cabela's. I mean, we started the season with some way cheaper Cabela's snow pants,
Mm-hmm.
and it did not cut it.
The funny thing is, like, skiing last year, I was super comfortable in everything we already had.
Right.
I was in Colorado in like 8-degree weather, skiing, perfectly comfortable.
Ooh.
But you put me on the boat out in the middle of the water when it's 40 degrees and the wind's blowing just slightly and you're kind of sitting still. It gets cold.
I bet it does. Oof. That's too cold for me. Us down here, we're a tropical people. We can't handle all that.
I mean, 40 degrees is 40 degrees until it's 40 degrees on the water.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I agree. 40 degrees and 40 miles an hour in a boat that turns into 20 degrees.
Yeah, that's cold.
Ooh.
Now,
Squirrel, Blue Mesa is one of the lakes that we will ice fish when we're out there.
Yeah.
oh, you saw that there? Okay, there you go. So what's your guys' favorite method of catching catfish? far as
Well, I mean, we're partial to the flatheads. So
right.
this current moment, anchored up, throwing some live baits, is kind of where we're at.
Okay.
That's our preferred method. But I thoroughly enjoy pulling planer boards and dragging bait.
Oh yeah.
Everything changes on the fly. You know, when you're anchored up and you're fishing, you're sitting there and you're watching a rod that's a statue.
Yes.
And that's kind of where the live comes in. And like, then you can talk to people. You get an idea of what's going on and talk strategy. And we've got kids that watch the show, and
That's
teaching
awesome.
that next generation is really awesome.
That's right.
But when you throw planer boards into the mix, and now you're driving the boat, watching all the rods bounce a little bit, talking to the chat, is that a snag or a fish? Like, there's just so much going on that you're on the edge of your seat for the whole trip.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it, but it's something that I have to grow into. I mean, like we've said, we've only really just gotten into it this last spring, and so for me, it's like, okay, well, what are we doing? What's the game plan? Like, I don't know how I feel about this yet. And throughout our journey, you know, in starting JayR fishing, we've each kind of had our roles, and I liked that. It's, you know, it's structured, it's great. I know what to expect. I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And then when we throw the planer boards and drag it into it, I get a little stressed, and then it takes about 5 minutes for me to kind of get
5:50.
I can tell by the look on his face there was something coming.
That says
You
it
know,
all
we
right
can
there.
go in, eventually she settles down and she's in the swing, but yeah, that's for the first couple of minutes, she is anxiety level through the roof. It was like, I'm driving, I'm running a rod out, I'm looking back, like, did we hit anything?
Yeah.
Thank you. The COVID time period, it's really hard for me to get the nav beacon to pair with my Minn Kota. It didn't come with it. I'm still waiting on one.
I got
So
you.
sometimes it thinks it's navigating a straight line and it's trying to make us track sideways across the lake. I'm
So
like, hey,
you're talking about laying a track down and having the trolling motor follow it for dragging.
not just that, it's there's a little puck that goes with them.
Yeah.
So it kind of tracks itself a little straighter.
I got you.
But we haven't made it that far. The Lowrance and the Minn Kota both have options that are way outside of my knowledge base.
Same here. I'm a Garmin guy, and they're about the simplest one to use, and I still ain't got it. I still keep finding new stuff out about every time I go out.
If Lowrance hadn't been on sale, I'd have told you that I either had a Garmin or a Humminbird too. But, you know, I bought the boat on a Friday. Saturday, we drove to Cabela's in Greenville. We bought the Ulterra, and we were looking at 9-inch options for electronics. And the Lowrance was knocked off like $400 on the price. And I was like, well, saving $400. Lowrance is still a good system.
Which Lowrance do y'all have in particular?
The Elite FS9.
Okay, all right. So y'all have one version up from the one I run. I run the Elite 9 Ti2 on my boat.
Okay,
that's 3 years old, but basically it's just about the same unit. Y'all just have the little one newer than mine.
Yeah, I've got an Elite.
I'm still trying to figure out, you know, how to dial it in and identify, hey, that's a catfish, or hey, that's something else. Most of, you know, I can identify like panfish and that's crappie, or hey, that looks like white bass on the bottom, but stripers, hybrids, catfish, I couldn't tell you what those guys look like on the Lowrance right now. I'm just like, that's a big arch. It's sitting in an area that looks like catfish habitat to me. Hey, look, we caught a blue cat. That probably was the blue cat we saw.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go. But you've got my phone number now. So you and I need to talk about those specifics. And now that I know, I can send you some pictures off of mine and say, hey, see that right there? I promise you that's 30-pound blue cats, because You know, we've been using ours long enough to where I've got mine figured out to where I know if they're catfish and I know about how big they are versus the arches. So I can hook you up on that one.
That's how Zach
I
is
try
on
to start
hummingbird.
looking, you know, I spend a lot of nights that she'll go to bed when we get home, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll be laying in bed thinking about what can we do to progress slightly further. And I'm like, being able to ID a lot of these fish would make my life easier. And I read a couple of articles about, you know, the hard return on your sonar with a catfish. You can see the plate in their head. So like, I'm over there looking at the screen. I'm like, does it hard return on one end of it harder than the rest of it?
Yeah.
We just haven't quite got there yet. But, you know, Hartwell's it's not a super densely populated fishery as far as the catfish go. There's really good fish there.
Yeah.
But we're fishing 56,000 acres and over 900 miles of shoreline.
I got you.
You got a lot of water.
The lake is just legs and creeks and rivers and streams and 60-foot water almost everywhere you turn with super big ledges.
And God only knows how many acres of flooded timber.
Yeah. We're a huge fan of fishing right beside flooded timber.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So coming out is just starting in the kind of the catfish, the big fish world of catfish anyway, since March. Do you guys foresee yourself going into the winter fishing as well? Fishing through the winter this winter, or is that something that?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
What else are we going to do? You know, everybody was like, the night that we had ice on the boat, guys were like, oh, well, I've already put my boat up for the year. You need to winterize that boat. And I was like, my version of winterizing the boat is draining the water out of the lower unit at the ramp.
we did host a live where we talked about prepping the boat for winter. And that entailed us dropping our multi-bars down a little bit and getting those re-angled and readjusted to look good for the live. And putting the top on, putting our enclosure on. Yeah. And as soon as you did that, who would have thought that, you know, your phone would overheat in 40-degree weather on the boat?
I don't have an enclosure, so I wouldn't have thought that at all.
Yeah, me either. That much of a difference. I'm not saying that we took the cheap way out right off the start as far as like, oh, I'm not going to be cold. I'm going to sit in an enclosure. But like, when the hurricane ran through a month ago, there were 40-mile-an-hour winds, and we were double anchored in our little honey hole flathead fishing.
Yes, that's dedication right there.
Yeah, these guys sound like us, don't they?
Yeah, I know.
Everybody's like, oh, you've got slack lines. And I'm like, guys, we're currently getting drugged backwards by two anchors.
Yeah.
And like 0.1 miles an hour. I was like, I can't tighten them. If I tighten them, the boat will shift and it'll just pull them back to me even further. I mean, it wasn't productive. I think we caught one fish that night. But I mean, it's one more fish than you catch it on the couch. So
that's right. That's right.
You can't be upset about not catching fish if you're not out there trying. And that's one thing that we do. I mean, very, very rarely do we, you know, give up. Like this is what we love. And one of the biggest things is like the Richard and Jamie that everybody gets to see on the live, whether, you know, here with you guys or on our TikTok and all of our videos, like this is us. Richard is very informative, loves to talk, especially about fishing. And he does it on the pier when we're fishing, when we're doing our saltwater fishing in Tybee. I mean, this is just us. We just kind of.
From the sounds of things, the folks that you guys have brought in tonight, I mean, that sounds like, you know, that's what people want. They want real, good, bad, and the ugly. If you catch a fish, not catching fish, whatever. But you know, you're out there, enjoy yourself, and have a good time, and be yourselves. And that's all it takes. And people will gravitate towards you when you know, for all these other folks out there that have thought about doing channels or have tried to do a channel and they try to mimic or copy somebody, it will only last. It won't last very long. And then,
no, it will not.
So, but So who are some of your other big influences, whether it be TikTok or YouTube? I heard you mention Chris Souders several times. He's one of my top 3 anglers in the country when it comes to information and knowledge.
Yeah, I would definitely. I'd have to say that Chris Souders has been probably one of the biggest influences. After we got started, Has Life was the first time that we saw somebody actually out there putting on a show fishing. But as much as we love Has and we talk to him regularly, what him and a lot of the other Potomac River guys do isn't us. I'm
Right.
not that super high energy, bounce around, put on a show, dancing, being all crazy.
Right.
Somebody else is kind of that way. She has her days.
Gotcha.
But it's the educational and the informative, and that's what we started with the channel. And we had already gotten the channel and been going live for a while when Chris Souders I just happened to run into Slungercat on TikTok, and I was like, why does this name seem familiar? And I was like, oh, from YouTube. I've watched a lot of his videos, like about drift socks and marking fish. It's like, okay. So then he was always there to answer our questions. A lot of the brands that we work with, I've learned a ton from those guys.
Yeah. I mean, Catch the Beaver, one of the co-owners, Caleb,
His Fish and Fuel podcast.
his Fishing Fuel podcast. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have rewatched them.
Who
Talking
was that
about
again?
What's that?
Who was that again?
Caleb with Catch the Fever. He
Okay.
has the Fishing Fuel podcast, and he brought on Tyler from North Carolina. He's Team Dinks, and he caught the state record flathead. And so
Wow.
Richard and I have definitely listened to that a couple of times to really learn, what are these fish thinking? Like, what is it that we can do to improve and catch bigger and bigger fish? Like, how can we better ourselves? And I can't tell you how many times I've listened to those.
There's been a lot, I mean, I've learned stuff from Creole when we were talking an hour and a half ago. Just hanging out and talking about the way fish act and the things they do and the 3 light bulbs. It simplifies the way you're thinking about things, because one of the things I have learned is when you're going out fishing, whether you're live or not, you have to have confidence. Whether you're good at fishing doesn't change that you need to have confidence in the choices you make.
Yes.
You need to trust your gear. When I set a rod in a rod holder and I'm fishing super close to flooded timber, so I know I've got to have that drag pretty much locked down to stop that fish, I've got to have faith that my smackdown rod holders aren't going to go anywhere. I know that when I set them in that position, they're there. The multi-bars are going to support it. When I installed them on the boat, I did it correctly. You've got to build that confidence and that faith in your equipment, but also in the choices that you make when you're going fishing. And I'm not saying that, we're going to fish this spot, we're not going to move. But I found myself spending a lot of time second guessing what I wanted to do. And, early this summer, I talked us out of fishing a spot and kind of kicked the idea around, hey, we're going to go fish there. No, we're going to fish somewhere else. We ended up we went to that spot, but we showed up about half an hour later than we should have.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was already fishing right there. And about 4 hours later, a buddy of mine that knew him sent me a picture of the 56-pound flathead they pulled up.
That's rough.
And it's like, he's the only other person I've ever seen fish back there, because you have to walk from there. Nobody in the park really knows that area, but it's right off a boat ramp. There's a creek that feeds in. And this was premium summer dog days fishing back late July. And was just so close to that fish.
Yeah.
But I didn't trust in myself, and we ended up getting there late to set up. And
You lost out on it.
it's not only that, but you have to, if you really want to go for those big trophy fish or just fish in general, and you want to try something new, and you want to get into catfishing or saltwater fishing or bass fishing, I mean, doing that research, figuring out how to pattern the fish, what kind of habitats they look for, you know, flatheads versus blue cats, you know, flatheads cling to structure, blues usually stay suspended, they move a lot more. You know, it's getting to know and pattern out the fish that you've got to trust in yourself to know that you've done the work. You've looked at the map, you trust your electronics on the boat. You've really got to build that confidence. And for us as a duo, you know, I've got confidence in Richard, knowing that he's thought about it and we've talked about it, and you know, I've thought about it, and it really comes down to, you know, having confidence in the both of us. And I mean, at least for what we do as a team.
Wow.
I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah.
Looks like Freddie's is pretty close to us. He said he's in Greenville. Ooh,
Yeah, you got a fanboy right there. He's already asking for your phone number.
That close to Hardwood Hill fish it? Yeah, we're gonna have to let it go. I'll show you where the fish are.
He needs some help real bad. He struggles.
Ready.
He struggles to catch good fish.
How do you know if you're in the right spot without any fish finder equipment? Is a question that we got here on TikTok, and it's.
Okay.
Are you bank fishing or boat fishing? Because I feel like the strategy of how you approach fishing changes tremendously whether you're bank or boat.
Mm-hmm.
Boat fishing's about going to the fish. Bank fishing's about being where you think they're going.
Yeah.
When you're bank fishing, you're not trying to put bait on top of their head. You're hoping that they show up there, that this is where they troll through, whether they're feeding or going home or heading to the feeding grounds. You want to catch those fish in motion, bank fishing. And I feel like bank fishermen can read a fishing area significantly better than boat guys, because the guys that are on the banks catching big fish all the time, they're limited. They can't just go jump out in 100 foot of water and drag baits with boards and catch fish in the summer.
So for bank fishing, I mean, you've really got to look at, you know,
you've got to just pattern those fish. You really got to, you know, stay in movement as far as fishing area for 30 minutes and move a little while. Kind of figure out your local waters of, there's going to be a spot where those fish hang out. Every body of water has its own little niche market of, this is where fish like to be.
Don't put that up there.
I had to hide. I have no idea who highlighted that comment. I don't.
You know exactly who highlighted that comment.
I think it was you. I just, you know.
So, what time? So I saw the comment earlier. Somebody asked if you guys prefer to fish day or night, and then somebody said that it was primarily night. What time of night or evenings can people expect to find you guys on TikTok or Facebook?
Normally, we start live about 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Because we both work full-time jobs, and that's as early as I can get to the water.
I mean, I work 60-hour work week some weeks. Sometimes it's like a 55-hour work week.
And we still fish all the time.
And we fish all the time. So, I mean, we enjoy both day. I like early morning. Sometimes it's hard to get him up early morning, but we like fishing anytime we can. But for our lives, unfortunately, with the work that, you know, we do, and, you know, still doing that full-time job nonsense, about 7 p.m. Eastern time is about when we start.
Okay.
And about how long do you guys normally run? Because obviously you have to get up and go to work again.
Between midnight and 4 a.m.
Hey, they are some beasts. I'm telling you, their lives just go.
You guys work for the cable company or what? Sometimes, you know, midnight.
You know, I'm up at about 6 a.m. 6 a.m. to 6:30. Get ready for work. I work remote. That helps a little bit, but
it does.
I mean, we catch our sleep when we can. Not gonna lie, there has been some times where I've taken a nap on a live. Catching about 10, 20 minutes of shut eye before,
We got
we
some
really dive
anglers
into the night.
We got some anglers in our community that sleep during their own live stream and wake up with 40, 50 pounders on the line. Now, I won't mention Pontoon Jody's name.
Yeah.
But,
We'll not mention Jody's name at all, but it has happened.
Jody out for that one. It happens. And she also catches a couple, hour-ish naps all the way home. And then she's been known to sleep for 30 minutes on the way to the shop the next morning.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't y'all also work together?
We do.
We do.
We do. So she works from home for a company, and that entailed when I moved to this shop right around April.
Mm-hmm.
She decided that she didn't like the idea of me being in the shop by myself, because what if something happened? No one would know. And I was like, but there's cameras. You can pull up the cameras and look. She's like, but I'd be half an hour away. I couldn't do anything if anything happened to you. And I was like, I'll be fine. I've been doing this my whole life. We're good. I got this. Be safe. Like, it's really important, guys. Always remember safety first.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing bad happens. And she didn't like it. So now she moved all her stuff up here, and she works out of my office. When she spent 4 days in Seattle, and everybody was joking like, oh, you're going to be lost. No, y'all don't understand. Like, if I am doing something, every once in a while, I get to go to the store and pick something up, and she's not with me. But that's the only time we spend separate.
I mean,
that's a lot.
We're always together.
We haven't spent much time apart since we moved me out here.
Yeah.
Since we got together.
So how did you guys, maybe you can pass on this question, but how did you guys meet living so far apart?
This is going to blow your mind. We met on TikTok.
I'm ready.
We met on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
So before the fishing show, we both had our own little TikTok accounts, and like her personal page is like 13K or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like 2,000 followers. But we'd go live and hang out. And I just happened to be scrolling through live streams one night, and she was hanging out, listening to music and ranting about TikTok handing out bananas for no reason. And I was like, I'm intrigued. I've heard a lot about these mythical bananas, and I've never been bananaed. Probably should have been a couple of times. Let's find out what this is all about.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, she was like, how do you feel if I get on a plane and come out there and visit you?
It wasn't 6 months later.
How long was it?
We started really talking at mid-February. And then about May. Not quite 6 months.
So like 3-4 months, she was like, how do you feel if I buy a plane ticket and come out there and visit you? And I was like, sure, go for it, whatever. But do it.
Not thinking that I was adventurous enough to
what kind of crazy person gets on a plane to go meet a random stranger 1,800 miles away from home?
I mean, I had faith.
It happens, apparently.
Yeah.
I had the faith that we had been FaceTiming and that you weren't some green screen, and I had faith. So I
questionable judgment too.
I asked him, I was like, how would you feel if I bought a plane ticket to come out and see you? And he's like, bet. And I was like, all right, what about this weekend? Well, that was Mother's Day weekend. And I was like, well, just kidding. Never mind. Didn't think that one through. Then we ended up settling for Memorial Weekend. And I got on a plane and flew out here. And we met in person.
That's cool. I mean,
it is.
It's a unique story. It's different.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense that we spend a whole bunch of time live on TikTok fishing. Like, it's what we did, but we just didn't fish on TikTok. It's funny, like, we would be FaceTiming each other or hanging out, talking on the phone, and I've got her in my earbud, and I'm out fishing, and she's out at her pond trout fishing. It's like, But neither one of us ever really went live on TikTok to fish.
I'm gonna do it a time or two, but I just
And
it wasn't
then
anything cool.
The only downside to this story is that it gives all these people out here that troll on TikToks and be like, "Hey," they're like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
seen it happen once. Shh, this girl really might fly out and see
No.
me."
It wasn't.
but there's a difference. I want like neither one of us were trying for this to happen. Like
No.
Right.
like, trying to find some random girl on TikTok that'd fly across the country to hang out with me.
No.
It was just like this was all during COVID and you couldn't go out, you couldn't be around anybody. And I worked from home for another company. And I was like
I was
just
in
talking to people
I was
and hanging
in-
out, meeting people and learning.
I was in no way ready for a relationship. I mean, not I wouldn't say ready, but like I was in no way looking for a relationship.
Right.
You know, I just wanted to find friends from all over and kind of the idea of actually like committing to a relationship at that time when we first started talking was just I wasn't ready for that. And then we just started talking and it was like, you know, my day is really gonna suck if I don't talk to you.
Oh,
Oh, sweet.
And then I moved out here. I almost lost our husky the first week that I moved down here. He escaped from the house in the middle of a tornado.
oh,
There was a small tornado coming through the area, and being from Colorado, she was all worried about it. I was like, it's not a big deal. It happens all the time. You'll be fine. She was freaked out, and I'm like, fine, just get the dogs, go to my mom's basement, hang out there. When I get off work, I'll swing by. So she gets all the winter dogs and puts them in her car and kicks the husky out of the house in the middle of a tornado.
I hadn't even made it that far. I grabbed the wiener dogs to put them in the car, and the husky bolted out the door.
oh boy. So we're being. You guys may see the question there. Ask them about their first live fishing.
That's Q team.
So that's cute too.
He is our true Q is legitimately the OG among OGs.
Okay.
He has been here since day one with us.
I
he
can
just-
tell you. He's
He
had a lot.
found his first fishing live, and guys, I'm gonna be honest, it was miserable.
Oh, it was.
We were fishing the Sebastian Inlet in Florida, and the seaweed had been brutal all week. Just massive red tide. 12-ounce lead wouldn't stick half an ounce of bait.
Oh,
It would
wow.
just walk down the beach. 45 pounds of seaweed wrapped up in your line and your leader. So we're like, we're going to go to the inlet. We're going to get away from it. So the night before we went live, we got out of the seaweed. Everything was golden. My brother-in-law caught a shark. Jamie caught a couple of sail cats. I got some hardhead cats. We're catching fish. We're out of the seaweed. All right, cool. Tomorrow night, we're going to go live here. Roll around the next day. Somebody fishing in the spot we were, but just up the parking lot, there's a little rocky point. But there's been a couple of juvenile groupers caught there. So I was like, I will fish this little point. Not a big deal.
Mhm.
And we made it good for about, I don't know, I'd say we made it a solid 45 seconds before the seaweed rolled in.
Before, the tide flipped.
And Q was there. He was the one person in the live.
One person.
He was the one guy. Like, there were people that scrolled through. We had some good views for the first night.
Yeah.
But you stuck it out because, I don't know why. I wouldn't have sat there and watched us do literally every 5 minutes. You're reeling a rod in. Just to clean the seaweed off of it, put a fresh piece of bait on, throw it back out, and hope that a fish grabs it before the seaweed moves it too far.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
It
our
was-
parents were in there watching too, but
We were snapping 80-pound braid with a 10.5 slammer that makes 60 pounds of drag, locked all the way down to reel the seaweed in the current.
Oh.
Oh.
yeah, it was a rough first live.
I don't think anybody's first lives go real well, whether it be TikTok. I know the first couple I ever did on YouTube, oh, they were train wrecks. Like looking, I thought they went okay, but like looking back on them now, oh my God, they were absolute train wrecks. But you got to go through those to get better at them. You learn what to do, what not to do, and you just you go from there. You learn, you get better.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we had the opportunity to watch Has and kind of understand these lives for a long time from the bank,
Right.
as far as like how things are done on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it gave us a little bit of a clue that like once we got ready to be live on TikTok fishing, we should have been set up to be going good. Once we got back and away from the Florida terribleness, our bank fishing up here started kind of going good. We weren't catching any fish, but like we were hanging out, we were talking, we were having a good time.
Right.
We got back from Florida and we weren't quite ready to really hop into catfishing right away. So we started carp fishing.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. So like the kids' Avengers rod, if y'all ever just want to have fun,
Every day.
buy a kids' Avenger rod from Walmart for $20.
Make it a date night. That's what we did.
It's a spinning wheel. But we had a competition to see who could catch the biggest fish, the most fish, and the smallest fish on their Avengers rod. I currently have the record
Okay.
of a 19-pound carp.
Yes.
And that's like the videos on our TikTok. The ugly stick Avengers rod is just straight doubled over, and the whole time it's like you're fighting the fish with your forearm. Like the rod's doing nothing. You're like, all right, reel up. And it's the best workout I've ever experienced. So much fun.
That was just one of the date nights that we did, was we got those little kid rods and we started that competition, and it went on until we kind of.
Then we got on TikTok and learned that people have mini rod competitions.
Yeah.
I was like,
we've actually had a live tournament on YouTube for that same thing. We had another channel, the Bullock Experience. He hosted a tournament live. The only thing you could use was either a Shakespeare dock runner or a dock demon. Yep. That was it. It had a line limit. It had everything. The person who won caught a 62-pound blue cat on a dock demon. Oh, it was crazy.
That was a long fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'll bring you out.
That was
like,
on
I think at that
River.
point you have to set the rod in a rod holder, take a nap, wake up, and see if it's tired yet.
Yeah.
60 pound. I mean, blue cats are fire too.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And this was in the James River in current, mind you. This was
the James in current.
In the James.
62 pound blue cat on a dock.
Wasn't it Dan Green Machine Outdoors that caught that fish, Roger?
I can't remember if it was Dan or Stan 3.
I think Stan was on the boat with them.
Yeah.
But I think it's Dan that actually caught it.
I'm gonna have to ask Dan about that.
You could time her out if you need to.
I thought about it, but you know what? I'm gonna let it go. That's okay. I'm not gonna time out. I timed out Jody. Was it yesterday? So I'm not gonna time her out 2 days in a row.
I got you.
I'll let it go.
Jody's up a shameless plug. Sorry, Creole.
Yeah.
She's putting her discount code in my show instead of putting my discount code. Gotta love it, right?
That's a no.
That's what good friends do, right?
Yeah.
We'll allow it. We'll allow it. What's you guys' beta choice?
It really depends on what we're going for.
Ooh, good answer.
Most of the time, it's either gizzard shad or a good sunfish. A green sunfish, or a pumpkin seed, or a bluegill, or a shell cracker. I am slowly being converted into crappie. I think crappie make great flathead bait. I had a 14-inch one get taken about a month and a half ago, and we were reel to my chest, both thumbs on the spool, rod tips in the water, trying to stop that fish. And he went under the boat around the anchor rope, and that was a wrap. But he hit that 14-inch crappie with dedication.
Well,
and never stopped.
just because we like them doesn't mean because it's hard for me to use a crappie. Of course, on the Ohio River down here, as long as you catch it legally and legal length and all that stuff, you can use them on our waters. But
yeah,
I have a hard time because I want to eat them.
We do too. We're actually we have the precision trolling rods from Catch the Fever coming in.
Mhm.
We're going to do some spider rigging for crappie here soon.
Ooh,
That'd be fun.
Jamie's had more fun the last 2 lives out fishing catching crappie than she has watching the Hellcats. I'm not complaining. I've had some good sandwiches. I got a nice 5-pound hybrid out of it, so I was like, "Oh,
nice."
There you go.
we're batter him."
It's the fact that I'm still catching fish. There's still movement. We're trying to figure out the winter patterns, and it was kind of nice to not be looking at statues. And I had never caught crappie before, so I caught my first one Friday night, and
She's been slaying them ever since.
I was gonna say, once you get hooked on those, if you have a good time, if you catch a good mess of them, man, it is hard not to go back and want them over and over again. I'm actually going to go. I believe Friday, I'm going to go out and try to stock up some crappie and grab me some bait while I'm at the lake and do some fishing this weekend.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, if you can go to the lake and catch even 10, you fillet them out, decent slabs, you got something to eat, and you can be like, man, I had a lot of fun gathering lunch.
There you go.
You go
That's
with
what
that,
it's all about.
chase big catfish.
Use their heads for bait.
Yes.
Now we're talking blue cats.
Yeah, we always Zach's still in here. We just talked about this yesterday. You two sound like me and Zach. If we aren't fishing, we're talking about fishing. Like, well, what do you think we're going to do this weekend? What do you think the fishing? Well, we got water coming. What do you think that's going to do? Well, what do you think we're going to We're always talking about it. So we were just talking about the fact that we want to catch more flatheads. We got to start by fishing for flatheads.
Yeah.
We go out and target blues 90% of the time. And then at the end of the year, we're like, man, we should have caught more flatheads. Well, we didn't try.
Yeah, that's the opposite of us. We tore up flatheads so much this year that we didn't really take time to figure out where blue cats are when it's easy to try to find them. And now that we're hitting that winter bite, we're both scratching our head like, water temp's 55 degrees. The flatheads are no longer happy. They don't care about eating anymore. Where are the blue cats? And everybody's like, oh, the flatheads will still eat if you can find their winter hole. And I was like, okay, well, how far are they going to go to find, like, how far are they willing to go to find deep water?
And what is the definition of deep water?
It's
Like,
relative. It's relative.
That depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
It depends.
You hear that a lot. Like, oh, they go to deep water, and whether you're watching on YouTube or TikTok or reading about it or listening to a podcast, everyone says, well, they moved to deep water. And then it's like, well, what is deep? And it depends on that body of water.
It does. Yeah.
And
average depth, and then you're going to have your much deeper areas, and even then, it's not always just deep water.
No.
I watched JayR today, and before today, I'd have swore that, like, if a man was out in 60 foot of water in the south, that he'd be in some good fish. I watched JayR drag most of the day today and not catch a bunch of fish. He's like, I wanted to do this test to find if they're deep, and clearly they're not deep. And then I've got buddies on the Tennessee that, we were catching fish in 6 to 8 foot of water. And I'm like, here I am moving deeper into the water trying to find more fish. And it seems like for the next time we go out, it's at least worth a little bit of time to go investigate.
Yeah.
Are they following the shad into super shallow water for a feed with all the sun warming up the rocks during the nice, pretty days?
That's right.
That's it right there. And that's the key that what you just said is, a lot of the times it's the sun warming the rocks or the mud or the sand. I'm not sure which one actually absorbs heat the most and retains it the longer.
Mm-hmm.
but that's, your bait fish. I say, in my opinion, don't ever rule out shallow water. I don't care what time of year it is, ever rule out shallow water. This week, our water temperature was 45 degrees. Zach caught a 37 pounder in less than 8 foot of water. So, throwing towards the bank between 3 to 8 foot of water, and caught a 37 pound blue. And another fella downriver was catching flatheads in 45-degree water.
The other thing is learning more and more about catfish from my perspective. Because when I started, I'd never caught catfish. It's not something that I did. So in my mind, it's like, well, how far are these fish really willing to travel? Because the leg of where we're fishing, we call it Moose Creek. When we fish Moose Creek, how far are they willing to travel to deep water, or how far are they really willing to travel to find those winter holes?
Blues, they'll travel hundreds of miles.
Oh, blues, flatheads,
flatheads have a much smaller home range.
Yeah.
Now I'm not sure about the winter, and that's what we're talking about specifically, but I know that for the most of the year, and I don't know if this is including winter or not, Ted Ellenbecker does a fantastic seminar and has a lot of research on this, the scientist side of catfish. And like they were talking about flatheads, primary feeding depth is 9 feet or shallower, during normal feeding pattern, spring and summer and fall, and that their home range is really small. It's not that big. I'm saying, I'm just throwing a guess. I thought it was only just a few miles, like 1, 2, 3 miles or something like that from, as all the farther they go outside their range. There's exceptions obviously, but they put tracking devices on flatheads and followed them and figured out where they were going. And like I said, blues, they'll swim all the way down the Ohio River, get into Mississippi, and go all the way up the Mississippi to the Missouri. They've tracked blues down for ridiculous amounts of length. There's how they get through every lock and dam, I don't know, but they do it.
Yeah. Now those movements for the blues, that's more of a seasonal thing.
Yes.
Like this time of year during the winter, there's a lot of people that believe that a lot of the blues, especially in the big rivers, Mississippi River and all, that those blues are steady coming south, basically towards me with the warmer water. Then during the spring and the summer, when the water temperatures come up, they'll start migrating back upstream.
Yeah.
And there's people that believe they go hundreds of miles within the course of a year,
The guy's name is Ted Ellenbecker. He's written some couple books. He's got his own DVDs out there, I believe, on Amazon. He's been on the show, or I think he's been on Catfish Weekly show once or twice.
He's been on Catfish Weekly. I want to say Mark had him on his show one time. I know he's been on your show before, like before I was here, I believe, if I remember right.
Yeah. So but he's really good, and he's one of the ones that was involved in the scientific tracking and all this stuff of the flatheads. He's got some really cool information out there as far as habits and things like that. But
it's really cool to see somebody put tracking units on fish. It's not Noah doing shark.
That's what
I love to see, the conservation, and kind of learn more about the fish that we target.
There's a lot of tagging of fish in our area. Around here we got a lake called Hoover Reservoir in very dead center of Ohio, and I guess center north, but they've tagged those fish, and they're growing at a crazy, alarming rate. They're growing like between 4 and 5 pounds a year, whereas in this area anyway, average growth rate is around 2 pounds a year. But in that reservoir, they're dominating. They're freaking blowing up. So
that we don't even. That's the The only reason we call it Moose Creek and don't tell people the actual spot we're fishing is so many local people will come in and harvest a 40-pound flathead.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
56 that we missed out on, there's pictures of it in the guy's front yard.
Yeah, that is sickening.
Mm.
Well, I
It's
was
like,
going to touch on
if
that
you want to
earlier.
eat a 10-pound fish, eat it. You take that 10-pound catfish, you fillet him out, you fry him up, by all means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However small you want, up to 10, 15 pounds, go for it. But these 40, 50, 30, all your breeder catfish, like we try to preach it to guys, just put them back.
Yeah.
If you'll put that one fish back, he'll put 100 more in this water. And this summer, you can catch an eater-sized catfish off of his spawn. Like just let that guy go home.
Yeah, that's right. Because that fish has the proven genetics
to get big.
It's going to pass on to, because not all catfish get big. That's just a fact. The very, very small percentage that even have the genetics to get that big, you want to make sure you let them pass that code on, into the eggs.
So even if you can't teach conservation, it's just math. And the math is that only a certain percentage of eggs laid will hatch. And only a small percentage of eggs that hatch will reach maturity.
That's right.
So when the bigger the fish, the more the eggs, the more the odds. The smaller the fish, the smaller the eggs, the smaller the odds. So if you can't, if people don't understand, the conservation, the logic behind bigger fish needing to be in the water to reproduce, it's just the math alone. More eggs equal more opportunities, equal more fish in the water.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the only reason we don't give out that is we firmly believe that Lake Hartwell has the potential grounds to produce state record contender fish. All of our record catfish come from further in South Georgia, the Altahama River or the Chattahoochee River coming out of Lake Sidney Lanier.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that with Hartwell being the bigger body of water and the more vast opportunity for better bait supplies, better chances to get comfortable, more breeding grounds, that fish has a better survival rate there. But this is also the area of Georgia that is people that were just raised on, if you catch a fish, you eat a fish.
Yeah.
And we've also run into people coming into the live and saying, catfish are invasive, you need to get rid of them, you need to keep them and eat them, and doesn't care how big they are, And for us, it's really hard because catfish aren't native. Certain species of catfish aren't native.
Right.
And they were introduced to this body. What is fun?
Half-Life.
Oh, okay.
You see, remember earlier we were talking about the supportive trolls. There you go. That's perfect.
Supportive trolls.
What's up, Haz? Art, thanks for stopping in.
The biggest thing that we have to remember is that even though catfish were introduced to our bodies of water in the
I don't even remember. I want to say it was like 1800s when they started finding flatheads and blues, but I could be wrong.
They have been in this area so long that they have become a part of your fisheries ecosystem.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So if you continue to harvest, whether it's big fish or over harvest, and I truly believe in limits and lot sizes.
Yeah.
If you continue to go over that, you really dwindle and hurt the ecosystem that's there. And slowly you will see that you have an impact on your fisheries. You really do. And that's one thing that we really try to get out to our followers and anybody that's watching is that.
Right. Just listening to you say that, here's what come to my mind. So the fish were introduced many, many moons ago. They didn't belong there, but they are part of the system. We didn't belong to the United States either, as long as many other nationalities. It doesn't mean we don't belong here. It doesn't
Right.
mean we got to leave. We're part of the system now. We're all part of what makes the country work. And
Right.
there you have
We
it.
we all have our roles. And I mean, we got to see it on a bigger scale this year when we were saltwater fishing down in Tybee this season.
Mm-hmm.
There was a shortage of shrimp demand off the coast of Georgia for Georgia shrimp. So a lot of the shrimp boats didn't go out this season. And for us going out red fishing in peak season and running the redfish tournament, not only just the health of the redfish themselves, but the size of the sharks, the health of the whiting, the trout, just everything, because of the shortage of boats and the abundance of shrimp in the waters right off the coast, you saw an immediate just spike in the quality and the growth of the fish right there off the Georgia coast. So it's like, if that's what one season does of not stopping shrimping, but just scaling it back for 1 year.
Yeah.
What if we did that every 5 years? We scaled it back for 1 year. What would that input be? If we put a slot size on catfish and said, hey guys, if it's over 26 inches, you can't keep it. You got to put it back. It's not going to stop everybody.
Right.
With
Well, there are some states
it
that have
doesn't
those
stop everybody.
regulations.
But some people would listen to it, and that would, what happens in 5 years when, as a whole, the community has really gotten out there and kind of pushed this to the correct people to put it in play. We start to build those trophy fish. I know Georgia's Department of Natural Resources wants to get back into trophy fishing. Georgia's the world record largemouth bass holder and doesn't have a fish in the state to contend it.
Yeah.
And hasn't for a long time. We don't have that quality of fish in the bass industry anymore.
I got you.
Georgia went as far as to release lake sturgeon back and try to grow a sturgeon population again to bring back that trophy fishing environment. Why are we not protecting the trophy fish that we have?
Yeah. It's kind of the same as like, the Asian carp invasion that has taken on, lots of other parts of the country. Catfish is the only predator to an Asian carp.
Yep.
Dwindling the numbers and getting rid of big fish in your water is going to cause the decimation of a lot of other species, because, the amount of eggs and things that they consume, as you guys have seen in most areas that have Asian carp population problems, the size, quantity, and quality of fish go way down. And, catfish are the only fish out there that can eat them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because what's bad about the Asian carp is that, they're competing with your bait fish. They're competing with your shad and things like that to feed on the plankton. But the problem is the Asian carp out-compete them 10-1. Like I said, somebody who put that comment in there. Oh yeah, I had to highlight that one. In my area, we've got 2 predators for Asian carp. Those bull sharks will eat them too. We've proven that. But still, there's just anything. We found that out a couple of nights. They will eat anything.
I was there. He's like, I don't know what we're hooking into, but it keeps cutting my line over and over and over again. And then he got one in the boat. And he's like, I figured out what's cutting my line. Sharks.
I didn't quite say it like that. It was more like, oh, crap, we got a shark. That was about the last thing I was expecting. It was that was a crazy night.
He wasted no time getting it out of the boat.
No, I did not.
No. You leave those guys in the boat.
No.
There's no fun to the shark.
No. Get that thing out of my boat. No.
It was either the shark was going out of the boat or Jeremy was going out of the boat. Something was happening.
No. That thing stunk so bad. No. I had to park my boat outside that night because of that.
There you go.
So that is Atlantic sharknose jaws.
Check that out. That's cool.
That is cool.
We are consumers of shark meat here at JayR Fishing.
Well, you can come down here and come get them. That's all I can tell you.
Flail around too long, they start to stink. Put them back in the water. But if you can get them out of the water quick, and you can process it really fast, there's no spine. Like there's no skeletal system. You cut a little bit of cartilage out of them, skin them, and a 30-pound shark yields 27 pounds of meat.
I mean, with us harvesting the Atlantic shark noses that we did this year, it was about a 2-minute process. I mean, 5 minutes in total, if you want to give a rough estimate of getting it up in the bait net, IDing it, getting it measured, make sure that it's within slot range, and then immediately taking it over and processing it. Still doing this notion.
Yeah, all the moms were just absolutely freaked out that there's a kid sitting on the bait table. Like we're at the fish cleaning station on the pier, and he's just sitting there just chomping at me. And then like, he's really upset with you. And I was like, I think he's going to be mad at you for the rest of his life. Yeah. And nobody really got the joke. Nobody got the joke, but they're like, well, how fresh is that meat? And I like, we'd have it in a bag, and I'm like, well, here, feel, and you can feel and see the meat still twitching in the bag.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I'm like, when we harvest a shark, there's no time there are 0 pictures of those 4 sharks that we harvested the week we were down there. 0 pictures of it. Because that fish came over the rail and was immediately chopped. There was no time to stop and pose for a picture. Oh, it's beautiful.
I thought it would have made a second or two out of that. You guys are professionals.
It took us probably 10 minutes of this thing going absolute bonkers in a net on the deck of my boat to figure out what in the world we're going to do with it. So you can about imagine what was going on. Because I've never actually laid eyes on a live shark in my life, much less catch one in the river. So, yeah, we were a little unprepared.
Well, see, they're real easy to handle. You put your knees on their pec fins, and you sit on top of him.
Yep.
And then you just reach over and you grab the tip of his nose and you hold his head up.
No. Not happening.
Somebody typed sturgeon 3 times and look who showed up.
Yep. Stand. Yep.
Who stands?
What's happening? Stand.
So, I mean, that is honestly one of the best ways because they're immobilized. You've got them. Your body weight on top of them is
they're not immobilized.
I mean, they'll still slap you. I mean, you got to be careful. You do have to be careful with sharks. I mean, not only do you have the rows of teeth, you've also got their skin. So fishing on the pier in Tybee, a lot of people don't know that. So one way, if you run your hand one way down the shark, it's real smooth. But then when you rub it backwards against going up towards the head, it's like 40 grit sandpaper.
I did notice that. Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah.
Shark burn is a real thing, and it hurts.
It'll pull the skin.
Shark burn?
So that's what the shark fishermen call it, is shark burn. Because it'll look like a sunburn. If it doesn't break the skin, it'll just look like sunburn. But it takes like a week to heal.
But you see, there's a very easy way to prevent all that.
What's up, Josh?
Just don't mess with them. Just get them out of the boat. You ain't gotta mess with them.
You see Parker's comment? Yeah, tiger shark, 11-foot tiger shark. Holy crap!
Oh, wow.
I just saw one of the guys in the land-based shark fishing group got a 14-foot tiger, and those are the 2 biggest tigers that I've really heard about in the last couple of years. Normally, you don't hear about tigers over 10.
I don't know nothing about them. I don't think I've ever even caught I don't think I've caught a shark. I haven't saltwater fished, but a handful of times my whole life.
See, sharks are so much fun. Like 12.5-foot hammer, its tail is taller than I am. Like its main tail at the very back, from ground to tip, is almost 6 foot. And I'm 5'9". So you're chest deep in the water, grabbing the tail of an 800-pound fish, walking backwards, trying to get him up to the beach. You're like, excuse me, sir, come with me. Come with me, buddy.
No, you are. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
But then when you're done, you beached that shark, and he can't swim away. But, you got his nose pointed into the waves, so he's got water going through his gills. It's healthy. It's good. you've got to grab it by the tail, drag it backwards, and walk back out chest deep to try to spin this 800-pound animal around and get it away from you.
That part
No.
still makes me a little nervous.
No.
No.
I
No.
figure a shark that big, it either goes really good or it's not my problem anymore.
Oh, it's gonna be your problem.
Not for a long time though.
Not for
Sharks
long.
that
Not for
big,
long.
no longer
No.
my problem.
Not
You
for
know-
long, because you're gonna be a mess. Literally.
We,
I'm going to be somebody else's problem.
It's gonna be Jamie's problem.
Yeah. She'd be like, life insurance.
we we've had some pretty crazy lives. One of our biggest lives on TikTok was a giveaway that we did.
Yeah,
And
jumping in the lake in the middle of the night.
jumping in the lake in the middle of the night. We kept making little bets with the chat. Like, oh, we bet you can't get to 150K likes. You do that and Richard will jump in the lake. Well, then it turned into, well, Jamie, are you going to jump in the lake? And I don't like swimming in water where I can't see my feet. Definitely terrified. I mean,
Yeah.
I know what kind of fish we go after. We go after sharks. We go after Jamie-sized fish. I'm like a meal. Like that, it terrifies me. So we both did it, but
At 1 million likes, I had agreed to jump off the dock at the boat ramp. And when I did a good dive, trying to give myself that momentum to just swim to the ramp.
Mm.
And it looked like it was only like 40 yards, so it wasn't a big deal. And it was more like 140 yards.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Well, like they start really close together. They just angle away from each other. So like point to point is
Okay.
bad judgment, guys. Don't do it. Terrible idea.
Look, a
But
lot of
as I
the
dive into
things
the
I do
water-
are bad judgment.
The moonlight hits the water and I can see about 6 inches deep. And I look over at the eyeball of the long-nosed gar that I almost jump on top of as he is scurrying away from me. And I'm like, oh, a mouthful of teeth. Convenient.
yeah. So when you were like, oh, this is not my problem. Well, if that's me in the water, like I am just a snack. A lot of the fish we go after, and they are about my size. I am a snack.
Yeah. When you're swimming in waters where you are not on top of the food chain, no, thank you.
Yeah, we don't have any.
People
Yeah,
misunderstand
yeah.
sharks. You can't be mad at a shark for being in the ocean. It's like, I can't go to Creole's house and be upset that he's in his living room.
Right.
Well, you could be. I mean, you could be, but it's not going to work very well. I mean,
I
it might
prefer
be
him in
fun
the
to
kitchen.
cook, but
Yeah, I mean, I probably prefer him in the kitchen too, but like, you can't be mad that he's at home.
Right.
True.
So you're like, all these people want to get in the ocean, and they're like, oh my God, sharks are so terrible.
Or
And it's like, well, this is their house. If you don't like
Oh,
it,
yeah.
don't go to their house.
Or
Right.
when you're fishing, like we had an incident during the tournament this year,
uh-oh.
and now to start this trip, we get into Tybee about 8:00, and we stayed on the beach. Like we slept on the beach if we
Mhm.
slept at all.
Okay.
And we met up with a local buddy of ours because we like to fish next to each other during the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So we're setting up our rods. We've got our sand spikes. We've got the canopies up. We're there. We've been there since 8:00. Well, the next day is the start of the tournament, and we've been fishing. It started at 7.
Thank you for that.
And people frequent the beach even during the tournament. Like you
Mhm.
can't stop that,
Right.
which we don't expect anybody to either.
Yeah.
As an angler fishing the tournament, I don't expect you as someone that's coming down there to vacation to not swim. Like it's swim at your own risk. I would not swim. And we had almost 300 anglers.
And you're talking about 600 pieces of bait. 150 yards off.
Wow.
600 pieces of cut bait. Like,
Cut bait.
nobody's using an artificial or like, this
Oh,
is straight finger mullet cut in half, or a whole finger mullet, or big donkey mullets cut up. Like whiting, bluefish, just all these bloody, oily, big, good, perfect baits.
On
Guess
personal swim,
Guess
like,
who's showing up for that?
yeah, exactly.
and
Redfish. We are red fishing, not shark fishing.
we are red fishing this tournament. It is it was a charity red drum tournament
Mhm.
that they had the first weekend in October.
But when the redfish have a party, the sharks don't skip out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they really don't. They're there to party too. But
They're there to party.
we had a family come up and get very upset, and we're moving sand spikes with the tide. We've
Mhm.
been doing this for hours. I mean, your tide's going out, you've got to move your sand spike out, so then
Yeah.
you know you've got to keep on top of it, so
Yeah.
kids aren't swimming into your line because the tide's gone out and you've got slack line. Like, you've really got to stay on top of it. It's a pretty active thing for us.
Mhm.
I mean, we're on top of it. So we're in the middle of moving sand spikes, and
This lady is
this
not
lady is not happy.
because her and her kids have been there before us, and they saw that we just got there to fish, and
Ah,
we are not going to boot them out of their swimming spot. We're like, lady, we're the same people that have been fishing right here in front of where your kids are swimming all day long.
Yeah.
You ask us at 5:30 this morning when you walked out with your coffee to scout out on the beach if your kids could swim here.
We said, sure.
Yeah.
What? And like the cops ended up getting called. It was a whole ordeal. But she was
Oh my
like,
goodness.
"You can't fish here. I paid to be in a condo." And I'm like, actually, we're licensed by the state to fish here.
yes.
It is a felony to harass someone in the attempt to take game. So you probably should take your hands off of my equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't,
Oh, wow.
don't touch our equipment. Like, I'm okay with you getting mad and talking to me or ask
Mhm.
questions. Like,
Yeah.
ask a question.
But it's just people that don't understand. Like, you can't catch a fish that's not there. All of
That's
us as anglers are very well aware that if you are fishing in a spot that doesn't have fish, you don't catch fish. So it's like, we're not bringing these fish here. You can bait fish over days, weeks, months, and try to draw them to an area. But we can't make these fish just come out of nowhere and show up. So, like, if you
Right.
want to swim, I promise I'm casting further out than your kids are going to want.
Mhm.
Your 7-year-old that's 3 foot tall isn't going to walk out when I'm walking chest deep to cast.
Yeah.
I'm 150, almost 200 yards away from where I casted, and your kid couldn't have walked that far. So, like, y'all can swim and play all you want. Doesn't bother me a bit.
Yeah, your baits are way beyond where they are. Yeah.
It just don't try to mess with our stuff. Don't touch our stuff. I mean, that's the only thing. Like,
And that's one of the real times that I wish that people would, if anybody had ever listened to us, that was the one family that I wish would have actually listened to what we were trying to tell them.
I mean, because
2 stands. Number one rule of fish water that has fish in it.
yeah,
Yes.
but
I mean, right there,
That's a good tip. I like that.
101.
Or the other thing that we do or see that when we're fishing in Tybee is, for a while it was very frowned upon to target sharks in Tybee.
Yes, I've been in that situation.
But
How do you tell a shark not to bite a hook?
Yeah,
like,
actually, I have caught sharks now that you mention it, but I just never got them in because as soon as we got them to the net, the dude cut my line.
Yeah,
I was fishing Myrtle Beach on the pier, and they didn't want the tourists to know that there were sharks right there where they were swimming.
Mm.
So
I
he's
mean,
like,
That's one thing that kind of gets brought up when we're up there on the pier. We bring a shark up, and everyone's like, "Well, there's people down there," and I was like, "Well, the shark was there.
Yeah, obviously he was there.
I've seen it,
It's funny.
but she probably saw
There's
you."
the black tip that we just posted on our Instagram back in October. That I'm holding it up, and it's, what was it, like 53.5 inches or 53
She was
inches?
close.
It was almost at 54 ready to harvest, but just a hair short.
Gotcha.
But we caught that fish pitched off the pier toward the beach.
Oh wow.
It wasn't like we used a kayak to deploy the bait for this big shark, or we droned it out, or we were throwing as far out as we could.
Yeah.
No. We
was
had a
there.
whole 2-pound mullet on the end of a 12-foot rod, and we just like flipped it off the back of the pier into shallower water.
Yep.
So it's like, listen, guys, I don't know if y'all know about sharks, but like they live here.
Yeah.
But it's the conservation thing. You know, people don't like sharks, and a lot of your other fishermen don't understand that like catfish are here to stay. And it all circles back to that whole protecting the fishery.
Yeah.
Sharks are just as important to the ocean as catfish are to all bodies of water at this
You
point.
better believe it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, almost everybody has access to either a flathead or a blue cat. You know, pretty much the whole country had channel cats, but most places you can either find blue cats or flatheads.
Right.
And those are your two big catfish that everybody loves, or at least all of us love so much. Yeah, I hate to see people that there was a tournament local to us that was a kill required tournament.
Ooh.
Really?
If you caught a catfish and you wanted to weigh it in for the tournament, it could not be a live fish when it was weighed in.
Really?
No kidding.
And it's because they are trying to help with the invasive catfish problem on that lake.
Ah, okay.
You know, I hate to say like, oh, those are the people that we block, but like they are. That's the type of people that we make sure they can't be a part of our show, because that's not a mentality we want to help promote.
Yeah, got you.
Right.
You know, if people can find
understand.
them on their own, like, cool, but we won't be a part of it. And they begged us to fish that tournament with them this summer. I was like, I can't justify that.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, sometimes you just got to stand your ground, you know what I mean? Stick to what you believe in, regardless of, you know, the incentive or the carrot dangled in front of you.
Yeah, that's right.
What percentage of you guys' live streams is saltwater to freshwater?
We're 90% freshwater.
yeah.
Okay.
It's about a 4.5-hour drive for us to fish our paradise from home.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So last year we went 4 times. 3 or 4. We either spent 3 weeks or 4 weeks out of the year saltwater fishing. I know this year coming up will probably be 5 weeks out of the year for 2023.
And then
And in 2024, we're probably only going to do it for 3 weeks, and that'll be the 3 weeks at our actual wedding.
at our wedding. Yeah.
Oh,
We say we're married. We're technically not married yet.
I got you.
Our
I didn't ask that question because sometimes that's a sensitive subject. So I just let you guys.
sometimes.
No, like it's
We stretched it out far enough so that we could plan it and be what we want. And we are going to have it at the beach during red season. And we wanted to be able to have the wedding and the honeymoon all for red season so that we can try to spend the majority of red season down there just fishing.
just fishing. I mean, fishing is so much part of our life that I want it to be part of our wedding. Like when Richard asked me to marry him, a day later, we were sitting at my best friend's house, and I looked at her and I said, one of the places I'm thinking about having our wedding is Tybee Island. I would love it if, as soon as we are pronounced husband and wife, we begin our reception by wading into the water and casting as man and wife. and starting our fishing. And it's mainly because I want to spend quality time with Richard and all of the guests that make it to our wedding. I want to have that quality time to where we're fishing and we're doing something fun, but we're not partying and people are going crazy. And I want to have a really relaxed time, spending quality time doing something that we love.
I have a feeling there's a whole bunch of husband and wives right now, like, what the heck, man?
Yeah. I know. I'm fixing to holler up in the next room, like, "Hey, what are we doing here?
What the hell's going on?"
Yeah.
I mean,
why did we not think of this?
We're gonna start asking for sisters and cousins related to you or something.
Yeah, I know, right?
We get asked all the time.
Kev Train.
My buddy Kevin in North Carolina, he's like, "Are you sure she doesn't have a sister that's single or a best friend or somebody that she knew growing up? Anything?"
Yeah.
Tuesday, Richard's trying to keep her. Oh, 100%. That's my PB right beside me.
Yeah.
I can say
There you go.
Hey,
There you go.
lay it down, please.
Jody wants to know how long you guys have been together. So
What's the official time now? I'm not the timekeeper. I don't remember what yesterday was.
A little over a year and a half.
Okay.
I got you.
Notice how he just kind of snuck right around that one. I like it. That was good.
Admitting it.
To be fair, like we both kind of spaced it. Like,
well, like I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how long we've been. I don't remember it because like I've only spent 4 days away from her since we've been together. That was when she was in Seattle, and she was still ordering lunch to be delivered to the shop every day she was gone.
I mean, we spent about a month apart from the time I flew back to Colorado. And I ended up, I guess it was about 2 months apart. And then I made, we talked about it and we made the decision that I was going to move out here. And then I packed everything up. We celebrated he flew down. We celebrated my birthday with my family and friends. And then that Monday, we drove me and my stuff and the dogs all the way back to Georgia. And since then, we only spent those 4 days apart.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Comment of the night right there. Comment of the night. Right. That's it right there.
That's the
tissues.
A little bit.
I seen Zach come in earlier. He's like, "Is this the fishing show that we're supposed to be?" What happened to our fishing show?
Yeah.
No, we love that you guys are true to yourselves, and you go out there and you have a good time, and you just be yourself, and that's like I'm new. I've never watched any of your guys' videos or content now, but right now I'm like, yeah, these folks need to be on my list.
Definitely.
You fit so well.
We are a bunch of silly gooses. We love the dad jokes that come through on the chat. We call our following, we are a flock of silly gooses.
Mm-hmm.
We are the JayR fishing flock.
I got you. That's pretty cool.
It was a joke.
It's never.
I don't remember what we were joking about on the boat one night. Jamie.
No, it was, we were out on Broken Bridge.
We were on the bridge, and we were joking around about something, and she was like, "You're going to be such a silly goose. You can go get in the water with all the other geese." And I was like, "What?" And then everybody just called everybody a silly goose for a week, and here we are. It just stuck.
That's all you have to do is say something one time live, and usually the wrong thing, and it catches on. That's just that's how it goes. A lot of our, like, everybody in chat, we all have nicknames that somebody said at one time, and then that's it. Nope, it's stuck. Whether we like it or not.
Somebody said that, and boom, he's the bus driver.
Yeah, somebody said it in a tournament one time. If it was Josh, the weekend angler, he's the one that started that mess. That was 2.5 years ago, and can't get rid of it now.
It's we still every day is a new little growth point with the social media live fishing. It still just blows us away. How many people that we talk to on a regular basis that we would have never met without it, that they're like family now, you know. Q Team. If we don't see Q Team hanging out in a live, we're like texting him, "Hey, where are you at? Are you okay?
Mhm.
I'm in the middle of doing something." That's fine, but you didn't tell me you weren't going to be here tonight.
Yeah.
I'm the one that gets worried the most.
She's like Mother Teresa with her silly geese over here.
I'm Mother Goose.
And
It's
just
have
wait
you
till
have you seen Lucky Fly?
Yeah.
Where's him? We haven't heard from Amanda in a minute. Like
and there's hundreds of these people that like she just keeps in her head, and it's crazy. When we started out, I've never imagined that it would become what it is now.
Yeah.
And it's still going. It's like it's not even over, and like we're impressed with where it's moved in the last 7 months, 6 months. Where's it gonna be a year from now if TikTok is even still a thing, or if YouTube's still a thing? Like where's the threshold of like, okay, this is all the people in the world that care about listening to what we have to say.
Yeah, like
we found them all. They're all gathered.
We've all become quite a close-knit community, and I get worried. Like, where's my Woody? Where's my Sammy? Like, where's everybody at? And it's crazy. It blows me away how fast. I feel like for me, I feel it's grown so fast that I'm blown away. Every new milestone, every new company that we come in contact with, or that we become associated with, or new people that we meet. It's an amazing experience, and I absolutely love being part of it. I love being part of the community where there are a lot of us that strive for that positivity and strive to educate anglers of all ages and experience, because I have that mindset where you can always learn something. There's always something that you're like, I never thought about it that way, or I might want to try that in my body of water. How is that going to work where I'm fishing? And to be a part of that and see our followers grow too is an absolutely amazing experience, and I'm blown away every day.
It is
awesome.
quite humbling to watch. Like just tonight, we've been I don't know, I think we were up around 70 or 80 folks watching, and for a normal Tuesday night, that's a good night for us.
That is.
And we've got such a good community of people that just stand by each other and help each other out. Offer information. Like if you got, I don't know where you're at in your journey coming into YouTube, but like just knowing Creole, you've got an entire community behind your back that will help you guys, whether it's StreamYard issues, YouTube issues, things like that, ins and outs, giveaway tool, all these little things that it took us a long time to put together.
Yeah.
And that's what I love most about the community is we got all this information collectively and we'll give it away. I mean, we're dying to tell somebody.
Yep. Yeah, it's true.
It took us so long to learn all this. We want somebody to learn it now.
I mean, we are definitely going to need as much help as possible with YouTube. I am struggling.
I think we were 35 maybe subscribers on YouTube before we started, and I haven't looked to see where we've gone to.
Will you lay it down?
Tail. There's a candle. There's shark jaws. Like, just chill, dog.
Y'all got my number now. Any help I can be with anything, I'm right there. I ain't never far away. I ain't hard to find.
Yeah, Lucky Fly, straight up. Like, for those of you that see this wonderful banner, it was hung up about 3 hours ago, and you can. There's a dog in the way. But designed, printed, and sponsored by Lucky Fly Custom Merch.
There you go.
For any of you guys that are streaming or
that is awesome looking.
Have a brand or a business, all of our beard product labels Lucky Fly made all of our decals, the banner. He's,
Yep.
he's
I
a full
need
sign
I
shop.
need one of those like right here. Just
Well, I'm
big
not home.
old,
I'm remote tonight, but matter of fact, before we went live, that's the first thing I said was, "Man, I really love you guys' logo. That sharp back there hanging out behind you."
Oh yeah.
Tell them the story.
So the guy that designed the logo, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he is the same person that Catch the Fever used to design their logo.
Oh,
Okay.
And he asked me, he was like, what do you have in mind to get the logo done? And I was like, honestly, I don't. You know, I've kind of seen a couple of people that did the JayR out of hooks.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some other things. We've got a little silly goose logo that we use on TikTok. That's just kind of a little profile picture. It's like, I don't know. And he's like, well, send me a couple of pictures of you guys. Send me the links to your Instagram and your TikTok. Let me get an idea of who y'all are and something that has more meaning than just a logo. And if you actually look, you'll notice that all of the hooks have big barbs.
Yep.
And the eyelets of the hooks are intertwined.
I got you.
So technically, you can't separate these hooks.
Hmm.
If they were 3 hooks laying in front of you, you wouldn't be able to take them apart without damaging them. And that was to symbolize that, you know, it's J and R together. We do this 100% together, and that
I like that.
we're one thing.
More tissues, please.
Yeah, I know, right? Man.
So, like, you know, and that's not something like no one's really asked a lot. And it's not like, hey guys, check out this part. But like, since we're talking about the logo, it's cool to kind of tell that story.
Yeah,
and that was
absolutely.
when he presented it to me and was like, hey, what do you want to change? And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that's great.
I'll send you money and you send me files and we'll just be done. He was like, well, you don't have anything you want to revise or like maybe you'd change about it. And I was like, well, what do you have in mind? What do you mean? Because like asking me if I would like it to be different was like asking me to design it first.
Yeah.
Right.
This isn't what I do. And I feel like you delivered a product. And, you know,
Yeah.
we've had our logo and Lucky made the labels and the decals. And last week, Thursday night, we were live in the office tying leaders talking about, you know, no knot snails versus uni knots and why we use this or that. And Lucky was like, you know, a banner would look really good behind you guys. And I was like, yeah, that would be really cool. I'll get with you next week and we'll figure it out, see what it would cost. And he was like, I'll have one on your doorstep Monday. And I was like, whoa, what? Like, what? Like, what size? What's it going to cost? What are you going to do? And he was like, don't worry about it. I'll have one to you. And then I ended up missing the delivery Monday, but they brought it to us today. And
there you go.
There it is.
So this is the premiere of the banner right here. I love this.
You saw it here first.
That's right.
Saw it here first. Muskrat Adventures.
There you go. Baby. Hey, I just want to say we still got 55 people hanging out, and I've seen a lot of people say that they've set the hook on you guys, and we appreciate that. But don't forget that in order for that hook to stick, you know, you reel down on them. You want to make sure you get them all the way to the boat. You got to, you know, make sure you take the time to watch something, you know, watch some of their content, leave a genuine comment on there or like, and you know, that way you don't miss any of the action when these guys go posting or go live.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, we are also on a journey together, and we are open to a lot of suggestions. If there's something you want to know, if you have questions, if you want a video about why, I mean, that was one of the things why I posted a video earlier today about why we use a uni knot versus no knot. And we got asked during my tomato soup live for the recipe. So I made the video about the tomato soup because we take a 3-quart thermos of soup with us now that the weather's gotten cold.
Hey guys, I like tomato soup.
Hey,
don't post in that recipe, but if in general, if there's anything that you want us to make a video about or have any questions, I mean, we are an open book. This journey is here for you guys. I mean, we are on it. We are living through it. We'll tell you what we do, and we'll tell you what you shouldn't do, because we learned it the hard way. But if there's anything that you guys want to see or have any questions about, like,
you guys are
we
going
open for that.
Choose your own adventure route.
Yeah. Freddie's outdoors. Is he going to be reaching out so we can do some fishing on Hartwell? Let's go.
Yeah.
Or, watching Jamie now. That's right, Lucky.
We give.
Hey, as long as you guys don't make fun of my snore or when I sleep talk.
She has been known.
It'll be fine.
We had a customer that he had to catch the fever order that, like, I don't know what happened, but when his rod tube showed up, it looked like they drug it behind the truck for like 12 miles, ran over it 40 times, dropped it out of a plane, and delivered it to his doorstep. The rod was trashed, but it was clearly like something bad neglected in their shipping.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and I made the comment. I was like, what on earth could they have done to break a catch the fever rod? Like, it was a Hellcat. Everyone had seen some of the rod abuse videos that Caleb and those guys posted.
Right.
I know how much flex we've put in them. I know that I just throw them in the bed of the truck and then throw them in the boat. I'm like, what did they do with it? And Jamie wakes up out of a dead sleep and said, what do you mean? They shipped them directly to the shop. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, the rods. You asked what they do with them. They shipped them to the shop. And I was like, not his rod. And she was like, wait, what?
What?
And I was like, just go back to sleep. Obviously, you were in a good sleep.
She missed the whole first half.
It's like, you just do you.
Yeah.
Becca says, girl, don't worry. We all sleep talk.
Yeah.
I've gotten in trouble while Jamie was asleep more times than I can count for things that I didn't even know happened.
Apparently, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
So I get elbowed in the middle of the night. I'm not even sure what I did. She'll just wake up, just be like, bah!
I think that's a little over exaggerated, because I feel like if I did that, it'd hurt my poor delicate elbow.
Hey, thank you so much for that, Q team, man.
Absolutely.
We like to. Well, this is kind of what we like to do. We like to hang out.
Yep.
We like to talk about fishing. Sometimes we stay on topic. We'll choose topics of the week. We'll be live fishing. If you scroll back through on my channel, you'll see a lot of live fishing events. If you go back far enough, you'll finally run into some production videos I used to make. I've just been too lazy, I guess, to make production videos.
It happens.
I got
all this to talk about is Nocturnal Nation Custom Hooks has sent us a very, very large bag of hooks.
Who is this?
So, Nocturnal Nation.
Oh, okay, yeah, I missed it.
And we'll be doing a bunch of hook giveaways.
Ooh.
Here coming soon, especially to kind of kick off the new YouTube thing.
That's right.
Bring a new level of adventure. So we'll start.
Have you guys seen the giveaway tool that most of us use?
I have not, but Creole was telling me about it earlier.
Creole, you're able to send them the link, aren't you?
Oh yeah, Oh no, I will definitely be sending them the link, but just to show y'all.
Right there.
How did that happen? Did you do that?
I did. This was the winner for the last giveaway I did.
Oh, you had it shared. Okay.
This was from Saturday, our tournament that we did. See, it goes through, people enter a word, you give them the word to tag. Oh, look, Chris, Hooks and Hammocks won. But that giveaway tool there, basically everybody in chat enters whatever word you tell them to enter. Yep. You enter it in there, they enter it in chat, you give them so much time, and then you hit spin, and you get to see everybody's names go through.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's none of that, bull,
pick a number or nothing like, exactly.
Pick a number. Oh yeah, that is so unorganized and tragic. This giveaway tool here is a must have.
Yes.
Dennis, the first 5 giveaways we do from now on, we're not even letting you enter them.
Oh
Dennis,
yeah,
20.23. That guy right there.
wins.
He won a Hellcat rod from us. He just won a pack of Demon Dragon Nocturnal Nation spooks. He's won a reel from some other people. He's always winning a giveaway, it seems like.
Man, I used to have that mojo, but it's gone. The most precious prize I won was a Minn Kota Tarova 112. Oh yeah, that was a good one.
I don't win. I hardly ever win anything. I'm just not like as far as giveaway stuff goes. No, that's never been.
That was
me.
one of them on Facebook pages where you buy a spot and whatever. This was a long time ago from James. Hooker's Terminal Tackle. James Arwood. I won it through him.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Roger, we have been at this for over 2 hours now. This is by far the longest show we've had in a while. Man, it's been a while. It's funny how time passes when you having a good time and having good conversation, doesn't it?
Yeah, you told me the show was from 8 to 9, and then I looked down a while ago and it was like 9:30, and I was like, I'm sure they'll kick us out of here eventually.
Every now and then we tend to just kind of get off in the weeds, and then we run off, talk about all kinds of stuff. Then I remember what time I have to wake up in the morning, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, we gotta, at some point we gotta, you know how that is.
So
yeah, we'll just switch phones and we'll still be live somewhere. Maybe we've made it to 50 and we can go live. I know it's going to be a long time before we make it to the unrestricted YouTube live world. I was reading the live.
I don't even go on YouTube for lives. I use StreamYard. I mean, it's YouTube. You can't pull people up on screen like this. You can't have this type of interaction. There's some other funky things that YouTube does that I wish they would change. And if they did, I think they would have a lot more streaming, a lot more people streaming over there. But
exactly
for what we like to do, I'm sticking with StreamYard for now, because this is
absolutely by far the best one. And I find StreamYard, if you have a little bit of a sketchy signal situation, StreamYard is much more forgiving than actual YouTube is.
Yeah.
So how does it work streaming through StreamYard on YouTube?
Once you set up your account through StreamYard, you can actually choose all your streaming services. So you could probably stream your TikTok account. Like right now, we're streaming on my Facebook account and my YouTube page.
Yeah.
That was why Tyra was a Facebook picture instead of YouTube. Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
So I have a Muskrat Adventures a Facebook page, and I'm streaming to that page on YouTube on top of. So I imagine you can connect a TikTok or a Twitch account or any of that stuff.
I actually don't think TikTok is supported by StreamYard right now.
That
I don't
think
it is.
That might be a thing.
They need to be. I can tell you now, they need to be.
Well, wouldn't you still have to meet YouTube's requirements for being able to be live?
Yeah. You're talking about
with
minimum numbers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the minimum is what?
They've dropped it down to, is it 100 now?
It's 50 for mobile. There's no requirement, from my understanding, for if you're live on a computer. But if you're mobile live, it was 50 subscribers. But until you have 1,000 subscribers, there's a limit on how many people can view it or be in it. So it'll start kicking people out of your chat at a certain number if you're under 1,000.
That's
I'd have to look into that one. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, me either.
I've never heard it because we've got some people in our community that's not at 1,000 yet that they've got more people on those live streams than we do. So I don't know what
don't say what the number is on how limited. The limit might be 500 people instead of 5 million. YouTube didn't say a specific number of what your limit was in your room.
It
just said that until 1,000 subscribers, you are limited.
Well, so far we haven't ever found that limit.
No, apparently not. The limit must be really high. because I ain't
I'm
never
going to limit being 20 people. I don't care. We'll hang out,
exactly.
be recorded and live and talking, having fun, and then we'll post it out there for everybody else to see later.
Yeah. See, that's the great part about doing a YouTube live. It's there, it's recorded, it's posted on your channel. It's there for everybody to go back and watch whenever they want. In TikTok, when you go live, unless you specifically download it, edit it, and post it, it's gone.
And that's what we do a lot of times is we get our content from clips out of that live, but it might be 2 days before we can go back and get it. Where with YouTube, when we talk about,
Look,
you know,
here's your answer right there. It does not limit you if they're subscribed to you. It will limit the unsubscribed people. There you go.
There we go. But with, I do a lot of our editing. And that's the one downfall that I have to say with TikTok is that we'll go live and I have a PD Blue that I wasn't able to download and post. It wouldn't download, and I couldn't get it. And there was that footage that we lost, and it's upsetting. Or it takes 3 hours to download, or I spent 2-3 hours editing a video, editing the Not video earlier today. I messed up too, and I accidentally deleted it. I got it done, and I was like, all right, I'm screen recording it, so then that way there's no watermarks, so I can post it onto our YouTube. So then that way it does a little bit better. And so I'm in the middle of doing that, and I accidentally delete it. And I was like, are you kidding me? So then I got to go back through and do it all over again.
Ouch.
But,
yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
See, I find what a lot of people do now with the lives on YouTube is what they'll do. The live automatically gets posted to your channel. You don't have to tell it to do that. It just does it. It just shows up after you go off air. Boom, it's there. What most people will do, they'll go back in the description and they'll put in like timestamps of, like they'll say, hey, I caught a 40 at 1 hour and 41, or something crazy happened at 2:15, and they'll put the timestamps in the description. That way some people can go and at least watch those certain parts,
right,
and not have to weed through a 6-hour live stream to see one fish. Or something like that. Yeah.
And it'd be cool for us being able to be live on TikTok with one camera angle and on YouTube on another camera angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see
TikTok requires you to straight up and down, so you have a much narrower screen.
Right.
Whereas YouTube, you could turn it sideways and you can get a lot more. You can get a much wider view. And
I can put a second phone under the TikTok phone, turn it sideways.
Yeah.
And then they might actually be able to see
the down rods.
With the top on the boat, they won't be able to see the down rods, but in the spring and the summer, they'll be able to see the down rods.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys that do that have that stream on both YouTube and TikTok.
Yep.
I have never done a TikTok. I might one day. I'm not saying I won't.
I've done one. I've done one TikTok live, and you know how I do things. I don't dip my toes in the water to see if I like it. I tend to jump in the deep end. My first ever TikTok live, attempting it, my brother and I were bumping in fast current, and like, hey, let's go live on TikTok, and we caught fish live. I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, you can't read chat. Chat goes really fast on TikTok.
Yeah, it's hard. It was very hard. Yeah.
I felt bad the whole time because we're live on TikTok on the side.
I keep blinking. So
I was wondering about that because I was like, I see a lot of comments about, you guys are really good to your subscribers and stuff. And I see that you're dedicating your attention to the show tonight, which we appreciate. Yes.
I glance back and forth, and there's some.
We do have people in that live directing everyone to go to the YouTube show.
That's
right.
Awesome.
Well, we appreciate each and every person that's taken the time to pop over and hang out with us for a little bit tonight.
Mm-hmm.
If you're inclined to check out more content on here, hit the subscribe button and check it out. But guys, it has been a really good time. I said, this is the longest live we've had in a long time. And Jeremy normally jumps out because he's got to go to work. So you kept him up past his bedtime.
I wasn't going nowhere tonight. I was not going anywhere. I was not missing this. Not a minute.
We appreciate that.
We do.
You're a rock star.
So everybody hanging out still in the chat box over there. If you've enjoyed hanging out with us tonight, and I know I'm hooked now. I definitely want to watch more content. Well, my first content from these guys, and see what they're all about. And so, guys, the links are in the description for their YouTube and their TikTok channels. And give them a check out and see what they're about. And you guys have got anything else? We're going to shut this thing down. We've been 2 hours and 20 minutes. We got 2 minutes left if we're going to make Stan happy.
Oh, man. Had to bring that one up.
So
I remember Catfish Chris saying something about 2 Stans fishing the other day when I was talking to him.
Uh-oh. Was it good or bad?
I don't remember what the context was, but they're talking about different things to do to be different, like to stand out in the community.
There you go.
That's a long list in itself.
Have the drama between 2 stands, like 2 stands fighting. You got 2 stands fishing, you got 2 stands fighting.
Yeah, it might be. Freddie's begging. It looks like contact me on Messenger.
Freddie is all excited, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Freddie's like he found somebody local.
Yeah, he said he's not far from y'all. He said he's just across the border right there in South Carolina.
Yeah,
we tease Freddie because he's just such a good character, but in all reality, he is a fantastic guy.
Yes.
He does a lot for the community. He has helped me a lot with my kids' tournaments. I mean, I know you guys mentioned kids earlier, but that's one of the big things on this channel that is probably one of my most important things is I do kids' tournaments twice a year, and that's the highlight for me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we are right there with you. One thing that we value most about our channel, like I said, not only is the education and the conservation that we try to get out there, but we make our channel as family friendly as possible.
That's
one thing that we value the most and we protect the most, because I mean, we started with TikTok. It's meant to be for the younger generation, and I want to be able to feel comfortable enough knowing that my 14-year-old sister can hop in our live.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable knowing that nothing we say or do is going to change or make her think differently about not only me as a person, but like we are going to influence that younger generation in a positive way. And we want it to be a safe area for those younger anglers, because the world we live in nowadays is such a scary place, and JayR fishing is a family friendly environment, and that's all of our mods know that. I mean, there is very little tolerance for anything that is
I'm scared if I'll fit in or not.
Hey,
after 11, we've been known to derail and go off on the deep end.
Okay.
That's better.
We try to keep it, but I mean, if you think about it, 11 at night or 2 in the morning, kids should be asleep.
Starts going a little sideways at that point.
Every
now and then we'll jump on somebody else's channel and just, if they don't care, then we let loose. We did that last week. That was interesting, and that's still up on YouTube.
Who's that?
James, when we went live on Dockery's channel with the jig tying.
Oh, I missed it.
Oh, that was I put it like this. The second word I said was a bad one, and it just went downhill from there.
Right there.
Yeah,
exactly. Has a real family.
15 is a good comfort zone for us, but like I said, I mean, we've even had some younger younger anglers win hook giveaways.
That was one of the first giveaways we did. He sent us a message on Instagram, and he was like, "Hey, I don't know if I can give y'all my address." And I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "Well, I've got to check with my parents first." And I was like, "Hey, that's cool. You know, I understand.
Yep.
If your parents need to talk to me, if there's anything I can do, like I can give them my business information as far as how they can reach me on a professional level outside of TikTok or social media.
To prove who you
Like,
are. Yeah.
whatever they need to verify this." And like 2 days later, he just sent me his address randomly. And he was like, "Hey, my mom and dad checked y'all out. Y'all are good to go. Here's my address. Thank you."
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
That's good. That's good that there's, still kids out there that think like that, what I mean,
Yeah,
that will have the
exactly.
respect of their parents. And, a lot of kids nowadays just give away information.
For sure.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Yep.
Thank you guys again for spending your evening with us. It was a blast. I had a really good time tonight. And
Thank
thanks
you
to
guys
JayR.
for having us, and thank you to everyone that hung out and listened to us all ramble for 2.5 hours.
Yes,
thank you for not only like hosting us, but like being willing to help us get our feet wet.
Absolutely.
In YouTube, and
This is only the beginning. It's only the beginning.
I can't wait to see where it takes us.
Yes.
Maybe one day we'll be guests on your show.
You never know.
Hey,
you're welcome.
Remember me when you're famous.
But
Jeremy said, remember us little guys when you're famous.
Yeah,
whoa,
exactly.
Whoa.
We're just two regular people.
We just regular people. People we think regular, maybe really weird to other people.
How many on the boat?
That's the stuff famous people say.
Yeah.
I know, but for real, like we work real-time jobs, and we're just two people that love fishing. Like that's all we are.
On a serious note, though, I just kind of glanced at our YouTube subscriber count, and thank you to all of you guys for picking us up. That's
good deal, man.
That's awesome.
Huge influx of support from you guys, and it's the next step in the journey.
That's what you get over here. You get the whole community.
Yeah, you do.
And just being on here tonight, a lot of people have got new eyes on you, and then as you continue to grow, it's just it'll snowball.
Yep.
But
you're stuck with us now. That's it.
Hey, there's worse people to be stuck with. I'm not sure where we're going, but at least we have a bus driver now.
Hey.
There you go.
All right, guys.
We're in the bus, not under the bus.
Hey, true. Okay.
True. There are a few people that still wear tread marks, by the way.
There's a few.
Is Jody still in here?
Yes, that's exactly who I was talking about. I wasn't going to say Jody, but it's out there now.
I wouldn't either. I wasn't going to bring that up.
I had to call her out because she said that she had some tread marks still on her. So
yeah,
herself.
That was a bad one. I broke a tournament record against her. So
yeah,
that was kind of bad. Anyway.
All right, guys, we're going to head up out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Same cat time, same cat channel. Good night, everybody.
Well, fish, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.